No. 12 Squadron was formed as a general-purpose unit at RAAF Base Laverton on the 6th of February 1939, under the command of Squadron Leader Charles Eaton. The squadron was initially equipped with 4 Hawker Demon biplane fighters and 4 Avro Anson maritime reconnaissance aircraft, and commenced intensive training in May. No. 12 Squadron began to move to Darwin in July 1939, with its advance party arriving there on the 24th of the month. The squadron was the first RAAF unit to be permanently based in the Northern Territory, and was initially stationed at Darwin Civil Aerodrome. 7 No. 12 Squadron Ansons were based in Darwin by late August, and these began flying reconnaissance patrols on the last day of the month. The Demons were replaced with WWII general-purpose aircraft at Laverton on the 1st of September, and all of the squadron's aircraft had arrived in Darwin by the 17th of September. The squadron's flying was reduced during September and October to make personnel available to improve the aerodrome's facilities, but by the end of October it had returned to normal operations. These included escorting shipping, maritime reconnaissance, and coastal patrols. The squadron experienced considerable changes in 1940 and 1941. During the early months of 1940, its activities were expanded to include gunnery and bombing training, and a No. 9 Squadron Supermarine Seagull was attached to the unit to assist with air gunnery practice. On the 1st of June, No. 12 Squadron was split to form RAAF Station Darwin and No. 13 Squadron. As part of this reorganization, the squadron's headquarters became the RAAF Station's headquarters. Eaton, who was by now a wing commander, was appointed the commander of the station, and all of the Ansons were transferred to No. 13 Squadron. Only No. 12 Squadron's sea flight remained with the unit. The squadron continued to conduct anti-submarine and maritime patrols and began a program of exercises with Royal Australian Navy and Australian Army units based at Darwin from July 1940. No. 12 Squadron relocated to the new military airfield in Darwin in April 1941 and reached a strength of 18 Wirraways in May. The squadron increased its flying in the later months of 1941 as war with Japan became increasingly likely. Following the outbreak of the Pacific War on the 8th of December 1941, Australian time, No. 12 Squadron was dispersed between 2 air bases. The squadron's B and C flights were transferred to Batchelor Airfield, while A flight returned to the Civil Aerodrome. On the 12th of December, the unit had a strength of 18 Wirraways, but was down to 14 aircraft by mid-February 1942. 2 of the aircraft based at Darwin were destroyed on the ground in the devastating first Japanese air raid on Darwin, which took place on the 19th of February 1942. The squadron also lost a considerable portion of its stores when a new hangar was destroyed at the Civil Aerodrome in this raid. Following the attack, No. 12 Squadron's surviving aircraft dropped supplies to the survivors of sunken ships and conducted patrols of the area around Darwin. It was stationed at Pell Airfield from the 15th of July to the 16th of September 1942, while Batchelor was being used by United States Army Air Forces units. No. 12 Squadron began to be re-equipped with Vultee Vengeance dive bombers from October 1942. The squadron was the first unit in the Southwest Pacific area to receive these aircraft, and their arrival was popular with the squadron's personnel as it was believed that the Vengeances would allow them to play an active part in the war. This did not eventuate, however, and No. 12 Squadron continued its routine program of patrols after all the Vengeances had arrived. The only exception to this was a bombing raid conducted on the 18th of June, 1943, by 12 of the squadron's Vengeances against villages on Selaru in the Tanimbar Islands, which were believed to house workers employed by the Japanese to build a new airstrip. This was the first attack to be conducted by Vengeances in the Southwest Pacific area. In May 1943, No. 12 Squadron was ordered to move to Morocco in western New Guinea, where it would come under the command of No. 72 Wing. The squadron's 270-man strong advance party arrived in Morocco on the 8th of July, but found that no facilities had been constructed for the unit. As a result, its aircraft were stationed at Cooktown, Queensland, where they were used for anti-submarine patrols and the escort of shipping, No. 12 Squadron gradually moved to Morocco between September and November 1943, and continued to be employed mainly in maritime patrols. The squadron's only contact with the Japanese during its period at Morocco took place on the 9th of October when a Vengeance unsuccessfully attacked a float plane. In July 1944, No. 12 Squadron moved to Strathpine, Queensland, where it was reduced to cadre status ahead of being converted to a heavy bomber unit. The squadron moved to Cecil Plains in December and began to be re-equipped with consolidated B-24 Liberator heavy bombers on the 5th of February 1945. No. 12 Squadron began to move to Darwin in late March 1945 and became operational there in early May. It flew its first heavy bomber operation on the 24th of May and attacked 3 Japanese ships on the 26th of May, setting one of them on fire. The squadron continued to attack Japanese shipping and installations in the Timor Sea, Banda Sea, and Arafura Sea areas in conjunction with No. 21 and No. 24 squadrons until the end of the war. During this period, the squadron initially suffered from a shortage of spare parts, but this was rectified after the unit gained access to United States Army Air Force spares at Biak. From July, No. 12 and No. 99 squadrons formed part of No. 85 Wing. The squadron's last bombing raid was conducted against a barracks at Kendari on the 10th of August, and it dropped leaflets over Borneo and the Netherlands East Indies later in August to inform civilians of the Japanese surrender. Following this, its liberators dropped food and medical supplies to Allied prisoners of war and later repatriated them to Australia. In February 1946, No. 12 Squadron became a transport unit, though it only continued in this role until March when it moved to RAAF Base Amberley and became a lodger unit of No. 3 Aircraft Depot. No. 12 Squadron suffered 27 fatalities during World War II. In June 1947, No. 12 Squadron's aircrew moved to RAAF Base East Sale to begin conversion training for Avro Lincoln heavy bombers. The squadron continued operating these aircraft until the 22nd of February 1948, when it was redesignated No. 1 Squadron.